Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a beautiful, cold Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedic, go to Brock. You need a roof, call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Oh, we got company. Oh, hey, you want to come say hi, Dad show? Goody sweet. Come say hi. Okay. Oh, my goodness. What do you say?
Hi, Dad. No.
Well, that was the sweetest little good morning. Where are you going? Go this way. And he's gone. Gone. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Hope your Sunday is off to a fantastic start. Had a great night last night. Eric and I went out for our wedding anniversary, which our anniversary is tomorrow, the 13th. But we went out last night for our anniversary. So I had a great time celebrating, and as always, went to supper club, and as always, 10 out of 10. Had a tomahawk ribeye. It's amazing. I tell myself every time I go that I'm going to get something different. I'm going to branch out, not going to get a steak, try something else on the menu. And every time I go, I always end up getting a steak, and it's awesome. We had a great time. So great night last night. LSU lands Texas A&M tight end Donovan Green out of the transfer portal. So we talked about Green a little bit. I love this not only for for 2025, but also for 2026, because he has potentially 3 years of eligibility if he gets a medical. But a medical redshirt from the year he tore up his knee, but in 2023. So, I look at 2025 now, and as much as Brian Kelly likes to run two tight end sets, you could have all three tight ends on the field at the same time. You could have Mason, just think about when you'd have Mason Taylor and then Bo Bordelon on the field, right? As they put on a tight end's jersey and let him go block. Well, now that in theory could be Donovan Green. So you could have Bauer Sharp in the Mason Taylor role, Donovan Green in the Bo Bordelon role, and then Trey Dez could still be flexed out on the field. He could be flexed out at flex tight end, you have so many options now. And then also because he's got more eligibility, he could in theory be the Bauer Sharp. You go Mason Taylor, Bauer Sharp, and then Green. And so then you're not looking for a tight end, a plug and play tight end in the portal next year, because you'd have in theory Donovan Green if you provided he sticks around. So I like it a lot. I really like the addition. Like we've talked about a ton, you still got to go out and get help at safety and hopefully at offensive tackle as well. But we'll continue to wait and see. I mean, you got one more game, so a week from tomorrow. So we're still not close to having all the portal conversation finished yet. So stay tuned. NFL playoffs, couple of laughers yesterday. Derek Stingley, a couple of picks was awesome, but the Texans roll over the Chargers. And then last night, the Ravens beat up on the Steelers. Mike Vrabel's been hired as the head coach of the Patriots. That should come as no surprise. I think we said that here the second they fired Gerard Mayo. It was like, well, you only fired Gerard Mayo for one of two reasons. Either he did something nefarious that warranted being fired, or you have someone you're ready to hire. And obviously they did. It was Vrabel, and that's done. I mean, it's a pretty obvious situation that was going to happen. So we'll see what direction the Saints go. I don't know. They interviewed Vrabel, but I don't know if that was ever going to be realistic, because he was always going to get the Patriots job. Go this way. Okay. Hey, Devin, good morning. Wendell, Norman, Christian, Brad, David, Gunner, good morning. Franco Nation, morning. Do you think Brian Kelly recruiting just not for depth, but to win a natty back-to-back because we're getting players to have a couple of years? I think, so my theory on that, which I've shared a good bit, go this way, is I think we have seen an evolution of LSU's portal approach and roster building approach. What I mean is, because this is all new for everyone, I think every year they're they're tweaking and adjusting to try to find what's just right. Like, you ever have to adjust the lens, a blurry lens? I don't know if you ever deal with a camera, but sometimes you twit and then you go back a little too far, and then you got to find, like, it's just this constant adjustment until you find what's just right. I'm sure there are better analogies that would make sense to more people, but it feels like that's what they did. Like, they went in the first year, they had to sign a bunch of portal guys just for numbers to have a roster. Well, all those guys left, so you had a lot of holes. So you still had to sign a bunch more, but you had another high school recruiting class behind them. And then year 3, they kept stepping down from like 23 to 15 to 9 last year out of the portal. And they realized, okay, well, 9 isn't a bad number if we keep recruiting through the high school range, but you lose all these high school players. So you might need a few more out of the portal, but get guys out of the portal who have multiple years. So next year, you're not back in the portal going after 1-year guys again. Does that make sense? So I think they've just continued to adjust on that scale to find the balance. And this feels the most comfortable because they got a top 10 recruiting class from high school. They've got the number 1 portal class, but it's a quality over quantity. They don't have 25 guys in the portal like Ole Miss did last year. And it's not a knock on Ole Miss. It's just the approach they took. They got 15. But of the 15, many of them have multiple years of eligibility. And as I've told you, I think at least 7 of those already are plug-and-play starters. So I think every year they've adjusted a little bit, as they try to balance that portal cycle or portal approach. Hey, Chef, good morning. Jesse Brown, how soon do you think the Saints make a coaching hire? Not soon, because especially, look, if you're waiting for Joe Brady and Aaron Glenn, I mean, remember, like, they interviewed Glenn this week virtually. Brady's supposed to interview next week. The Lions play next week. The Bills play today. If they win, which they should, they play the Broncos in Buffalo. I mean, they should advance. So, I mean, you got a little while to wait here on your hire, if those are guys you're targeting. Hey, Kelly Gross, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Jinglegate Day 11 is here. Yes, indeed. Hey, Bubba, good morning. Ryan, funny thought, Steve Sarkisian takes the Dallas Cowboys job. Brian Kelly goes to Texas. The first press conference, he says, I left LSU to win a championship. Stingley showed out. He was great. Yeah, man. Brad, do you like the NFL playoff format? I like the way it is because it makes division games important. Yes, winning your division is important. And I mean, that the comp or contrast with college is they try to make that same thing the case, where winning your conference is important. That's why you get top 4 conference champs get a bye. Here's the problem. Not all conferences are created equal. And I understand the NFL, not all divisions are equal. However, you're still talking about 32 NFL teams, 32 NFL franchises, all playing by the same rules. They all have the same draft picks. They all have the same salary cap. You know what I mean? It's like and everybody is a pro on a 53-man roster. Yes, there's good teams and there's bad teams, and there's good divisions and bad divisions, but everybody's a professional team, and winning your division should matter. I mean, the Saints had to go play the Beastquake year, had to go play in Seattle when Seattle was 8-8. But they were an 8-8 division champion, so they got the home game. So yes, I do think that matters. And I hope eventually college football gets to a point where we stop pretending like Kansas and Ohio State are the same. Houston and Texas, they're never going to be the same. Shane O'Mac, happy anniversary. Did you like the Nike room pick? I did. Shane, I sent it to Erica too. I was like, check this out. It was a Nike room. The bed was like a Nike sneaker. It was like a Jordan 1 sneaker was the bed. Ryan Stadler, good morning. Hey, thanks so much, man. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Strong Side, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Happy anniversary. Thank you so much, man. Tomorrow's the anniversary. You said you were getting I said I was getting the veal parm, and I did not get the veal parm. I said I was getting it. I told Erica, like, don't let me order anything else, and I still got a steak. It's just so like you sit down at Supper Club and think about Supper Club, which there's like the giant misconception is Supper Club is super expensive and like it's super like selective and whatever. Like what I would tell anybody is you can go to Supper Club and have an awesome meal, like the best meal ever, for the same price you'd pay at any other fine dining restaurant. But if you want to go to Supper Club and have some things that you literally can't get anywhere else and have an experience you can't have anywhere else, they have that as well. Like you want to go buy you want to go sit down and order a $10,000 bottle of wine, they got that. You want to go order the Japanese Omi beef, that's it's a $250 steak. They got that. If you want an awesome USDA prime ribeye or bone-in fillet. I mean, you can get all the stuff you can get anywhere else, same price. As far as a fine dining restaurant. But if you want the super rare stuff that you can't find anywhere else, it's awesome for that too. Brown Bear, morning, Matt. I can't believe the playoff committee would put the Chargers in the playoffs. Obviously, need a smaller playoff bracket because of the blowout. So true. I mean, what they need to do is just have the committee decide the two teams that play for the championship. That's it. That's all we really need. Hey, Christian, you were supposed to get veal parm. I was supposed to get the veal parm, and I didn't. I know. Thanks, Thomas. Patrick, LSU basketball is becoming unwatchable. Boy, they fought hard in the first half, didn't they? And then we left for dinner. So just really disappointing, man. Not surprising. I mean, to go on the road and lose to a ranked team on the road, but wins in the league this year are going to be hard to come by, man. Hey, Scott, good morning. Hard to pass an amazing mistake since a lot of folks mess up something that should be simple. Patrick, also any news on potential safety portal pickups? Nope. Irfan Sayad Gamogan. Kenneth, good morning. Thanks, you too, man. Tigers. All right. 19 years on the 14th. All right. Happy anniversary to you. A little early. Matthew, LSU needs a safety. Biggest need right now in the portal. No doubt. Hunter, morning. I know there's a 0.001% chance of it happening, but would you like Mike Tomlin as a head coach? Oh, that would be incredible. I mean, I would do that in a millisecond. I think Mike Tomlin is amazing that he continues to make the Steelers not only relevant, but playoff relevant post Ben Roethlisberger when they've had Kenny Pickett, Devlin Hodges, Russ, who everyone thought was washed. Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing coach. They just don't have a quarterback, especially in an AFC where you have Lamar and Mahomes and Burrow and Allen. Look at Justin Herbert and now CJ Stroud. Like, look at the AFC. Look at the quarterbacks in the AFC. Like, until Pittsburgh can find a quarterback, they're never going to be back in Super Bowl contention, no matter who the coach is. Lance, good morning. Looking at green stats, I don't get they jump around him. What am I missing? So I go listen to Locked On LSU when we're done here. So I go through his whole career in a lot of detail, but he was an Under Armour All-American, popped onto the scene as a freshman, played in 10 games, started 4 at 22 catches, a really good freshman season. Going into 2023, he was supposed to be their starter. He tore his knee up in fall camp and missed all of 2023. They changed coaches. New staff came in this year. He played in 7 games, but it was mostly special teams. So, really, 6'5", 265, athletic, big, physical, strong, could do the inline blocking, athletic enough to catch, like really good player. Got hurt and then didn't fit with the new coach. Is the 10,000-foot view of it. Hey, Bailey, I think BK would still like to develop high school talent. You really can't in this era. I disagree with that. Mason Taylor developed. Will Campbell developed. Emory Jones developed. Garrett Dellinger developed. You're developed. Ashton Stamps, you're developing. Whit Weeks, you're developing. Trey Green is someone we're all very excited about as he continues to progress. So you can. Deshaun Spears at safety is someone we expect will continue to take step. PJ Woodland. Now, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily development, but Caden Durham splashed as a freshman, was really good. So I disagree with you, man. You can. I think you have to understand that there's going to be that middle tier of your roster that leaves, right? So the guys that you bring in as freshmen who maybe don't play, and so they leave within a year or two, and so half of that recruiting class is gone. So you're going to have to fill the middle. Like you'll have the guys that play a bunch and stay, and you'll have your new guys coming in, and you'll supplement at the top level with the portal. But so what about that gap in the middle? That's kind of what they had to fill. That's what they're filling now with these portal guys that have multiple years of eligibility. So I like it. Joseph, good morning, Matt. Have you seen Nuss in the Gatorade commercial? No, but I have seen Nuss in the Powerade commercial. They didn't do a great job of branding. Andrew, what Freeman is doing at Notre Dame is embarrassing for Brian Kelly. He better win a playoff game next year. Yeah, Andrew, we've talked about this a bunch. I flatly disagree with you. I think two things can be true at the same time. I think Freeman's a good coach and has done a good job this year. Also, had we still been in a 14 playoff era, this Notre Dame team wouldn't be in the playoff because they would have been outside of the top 4 seeds. Freeman inherited a great situation from Kelly. They had won double digits 4 straight years. They had been to the playoff, a 14 playoff twice. They were number 5 in the country whenever Kelly left. Go this way. So Freeman inherited a great situation, and he got into an expanded playoff, and they beat Indiana, Georgia without their starting quarterback, and then got into a tight game with a good, not great Penn State team. Now, if Notre Dame goes and beats Ohio State, then I think the conversation's over. But if Ohio State goes and beats Notre Dame soundly, how is that any different than Brian Kelly getting into a 4-team playoff and losing to a Clemson team full of pros or an Alabama team full of first-round picks? How's that any different? It is funny, but unfortunate at the same time for Kelly. In a sense, he came to LSU while college football has forevermore been on a nonstop Ferris wheel he's had to constantly adjust to. That's funny. Okay, I'm just going to move. I don't quite understand. BK is realizing he may not be able to is what I meant. B. Creole, Devin, could Stingley be the next Darrelle Revis? I mean, yeah. I mean, he's first team All-Pro this year. I think for Sting, he just needed to get healthy. And, the early part of his career was unfortunately derailed a little by injuries or slowed by injuries. But you saw it this year. I mean, he's incredible. You're seeing all the promise and potential, which made him the number 3 overall pick. Michael Brown, good morning, Drew and Matt. Happy Sunday. Do you have a recommendation for the hydrogen water bottles? The price ranges on Amazon are very vast. The one that I got is the Echo. If you go to... So the guy who's, kind of put me on all this was Gary Brecka. He's got a website. His website is The Ultimate Human. And if you go to The Ultimate Human, there's a shop link with all the links to everything that here, just hit the, here's the, here it is, Echo Water. Oh, they changed the design of the bottle. That's interesting. Echo Flask. Interesting. So I have the Echo Go is what I have, is the one I bought. I'll post the link. And candidly, I mean, to his point, it's not cheap. It's again, like I had to make sure the Echo Go is $250. So I had to make sure before I started buying all this stuff, like I was really committed to this lifestyle. So like before I bought my chiller, before I bought the Echo Go, before I started like buying the supplements and all, like I had to make sure I was really committed to it. But I have been, and it's obviously worked. I mean, I'm probably the healthiest I've ever been My blood labs are perfect. I'm down to 193 pounds. I'm strong. I mean, it's the best I've looked and the healthiest I've been probably since I was in college, man. Hey, babe. What time? It's 10:45. Okay. Got a little time. Do about 15, maybe 15, 20 more minutes here. I'm going to go to church. So y'all smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Oh, Thomas, let's do this before we forget. Let's make sure we knock this out.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right. Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need a roof inspection, we'd love to help you out. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Issues with your roof, commercial or residential. We'd love to help you out. Of course, Brock as well, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. If you find yourself in need of an orthopedist. Oh, I never went and tagged all them here today because Drew came in and we did the go this way thing. He did the go this way. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. You need a roof, give a shout at Parish. Remember, Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. If your New Year's resolution is to drop a few LBs, Unique Physique, semaglutide, tirzepatide, those are the weight loss shots you hear people talk about all the time. Lowest prices, never any contracts. You can do the whole thing over telemed. They will ship your medicine anywhere in the country. And they also now have 3-month pricing. So if you buy 3 months at a time, you'll save $100 on your medicine. So great way to get started for the whole first quarter of 2024. UniquePhysique.com. Check it out. Okay. So steak again? Yeah, I did steak. All right. Let me find my spot again here. Sorry. Hey, Michael. Good morning. Thank you, man. LSU. Has LSU won back-to-back natty? No. In football, no. Devin, 10,000 bottle of wine doesn't interest me, even if I had the money. Juice isn't worth the squeeze and most things like that. Imagine being underwhelmed paying $10,000 for a bottle. Same, but for some people, that's their jam. Shane O'Mac, if Tomlin leaves Pittsburgh, Gail Benson, Mickey Loomis should be all over that. I just don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I agree. I would love it. I just don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I gave it to him. Yep. Does the LSU need an offensive lineman? They need a tackle. That's what they're looking for, a tackle. I mean, I guess we could say it now. Like Elijah Pritchett, the offensive tackle from Bama, who went to Nebraska. I was told he got, quote, stupid money from Nebraska, but LSU was trying to get him to come on a visit. He ended up going to Nebraska. They did have a song and dance with another SEC offensive lineman who never entered the portal, but that person's rep's agent was pretty actively trying to engage LSU about his client. And I think that he was just, the agent was doing what a good agent does. He was just playing both sides against the middle, trying to get the price up for his client. And I don't know what he got, but he never went to the portal. He stayed at his school. And as I mentioned, they have a silent guy playing in the playoffs, and we'll see if that actually happens. So, I mean, it's not done until it is. I mean, just like I just told you that there was it's funny because this player, the player whose agent was contacting LSU was like pretty aggressively trying to get LSU to engage in getting the player. And so then LSU put together a very, very good NIL offer. And ultimately the kid ended up staying where he was. He's a former 5-star offensive lineman. So it would have been a big, big deal if it had happened, but he ultimately stayed where he was. Again, I think it was just the agent trying to drive up the price. JMJ, let's see. When can we stop the charade of referring to Justin Herbert as a top-tier quarterback? For whatever reason, he does not raise his team to the next level. I do think it's fair to say that he is an extremely gifted player. That I think is inarguable. The 4 interceptions yesterday, most in a playoff game for a Chargers quarterback since Stan Humphries in 1995. I think the roster around him had really waned, hence Brandon Staley getting fired, Harbaugh coming in. But to go from picking 5th in the draft to in the playoffs, it is pretty dramatic. But he's also, remember, in a division with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's just never going to be easy. But I'd say the same thing for Denver and Bo Nix. Hey, Milton, good morning. For some strange reason, I'm not mad today, and I'm usually mad on Sundays this time of year. Any possible diagnosis? Yeah, I woke up, I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. There's no Saints game today, so I don't know what to do with my hands. Tony, good morning. Is the safety still silently committed? Yeah. But again, like, what's going to happen when that becomes known, sort of thing, right? Does the team try to retain him? Does he actually go in the portal? Like, as I think back about it now, as we talked about that, I probably shouldn't have said that. What I probably should have said is LSU is pursuing players, or LSU will pursue players on teams in the playoffs, and just kept it more vague. But I think there are people in this era who are willing to talk and want information out there for a variety of reasons, especially in an era where people's money is being spent. I think, when you contribute money to the collective and and you don't know exactly how those funds are being allocated, you want to see results and you want to know it's going towards something. It's like if you contribute to a capital project, like for example, if LSU decides they're going to build a new basketball arena, or like when they were building Mike the Tiger's cage, they sold all those bricks, right? You could buy a brick around the cage or the play, and you knew that your donation was going for this specific thing. There's a tangible asset there that your contribution went towards. I think it's just different when you're just throwing money in a pot and letting somebody else spend it for whatever they see fit, and you don't really know what's going on there. So I think there is some of that where, there's a desire for people to know. Go this way. What are you doing this morning, huh?
Go this way.
Hey, who'd you see last night? Who came to Drew's house last night?
Mama. Oh.
Mama and Papa? Yep. Yep. Did you have so much fun?
Yes.
Yes. Good. You want to come sit on Dad's lap and say hi to Dad show?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. You come say hi. Okay. Hey. Who did you see on AFR on Friday?
Ryan.
Ryan. What did Ryan say?
Yo, what?
Yo, bruh. Yo. Erica's got on her Taylor Swift jammies. You want to come show everybody your Taylor Swift jammies? Why not? You're wearing Taylor Swift jammies.
My face.
Oh, your face isn't dressed. Oh. Erica made our poor waitress last night take 47 pictures.
She loved it.
Go this way.
Go this way.
Did you end up getting one that you liked?
Yeah. Want to.
Go this way.
Go
Go this way.
Go this way.
It's like, thank you.
Go
She
this
don't
way.
care. It was so nice taking care of her.
Go
Thank you
this
so much.
way.
She, like, didn't thank me
Go
for-
this way.
Mm.
Go this way.
Go this way.
You can open that door if you want so he didn't hit himself. Okay. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. We appreciate y'all for being there. Marital. So tired of the BK Freeman comparisons. BK hired him. BK turned NT into what they are. Great point. Something else we probably haven't talked enough about, Madi. It's a good point. Like, Brian Kelly did hire Marcus Freeman. I mean, he built that program. He handed Marcus Freeman the keys to a program that was very stable. And I think Freeman's done an amazing job. Like, you can get the keys to the car and crash it. And Freeman has done a very good job. And not in any way denying that. I think he's done really a very good job. It also very much remains to be seen that he's elevated the program beyond where Kelly was able to get it. I mean, Kelly got them into a championship game in a 2-team era. Kelly also got them into the 4-team playoff twice, where they ran up against NFL rosters from Alabama and Clemson. Like, I wrote this in my column for LouisianaSports.net, but like Notre Dame got into the 4-team playoff in 2018 and lost to Clemson 30-3. That Clemson team had 4 defensive linemen that went in the first round. It Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, T. Higgins, Justin Ross. Like, how do you think that would have gone against this Notre Dame team? Come on. Like, this Notre Dame team has a quarterback that can't throw. They have receivers that can't get separation. They have had a couple of injuries on the offensive line. I mean, they're a very good football team. But Mel Kiper, in his top 10 position rankings, has 3 Notre Dame players anywhere in the top 10. He has Riley Leonard as the 10th quarterback. He's got their tight end as the 7th best tight end, and he's got a safety as the 5th best safety. Like, that's it. They're a very good college team. They would have gotten blasted by any of those teams. I mean, the 2020, you realize, like, Kelly's team in 2020 lost to Alabama. That was the Alabama team with Mac Jones, when Devontae Smith won the Heisman, Jalen Waddle, John Mechie, Brian Robinson, Najee Harris. Come on. Like, how do you think that would? That team scored, was it 56 in the national championship game against Ohio State? Come on. Like, you mean to tell me Freeman's elevated the program to that level? This is not. Like, he's done a very good job. But if they go out a week from Monday and they go lose by 2 touchdowns to Ohio State, are they really in any different situation than they were under Brian Kelly? And so then the thing I keep getting from Notre Dame people is like, well, he's already beaten 3 top 5 teams and more than Kelly did in 12 years. I'm like, great. They beat Indiana. You fired up about beating Indiana? I mean, it's a playoff game. It's a good win, but like, you mean to tell me that that's like a feather in your cap win, beating Indiana on your home field, a playoff game? Like, that's one of those marquee wins. Like, but put it to you this way: what's a more impressive win? Brian Kelly year 1 at LSU beating Alabama, or Notre Dame's win this year over Indiana? What's a more impressive win? Come on. All right, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hey, Guy, good morning. Where is LSU addressing safety position? So Tamarcus Cooley, the safety from NC State, was on campus. He left. So he went to Ole Miss, LSU, then he's visiting Kentucky. They don't make a decision. It'll be one of those SEC schools. You would love it if LSU lands him. But Tamarcus Cooley, and then there's, the player that we'll see to be named on a current team in the playoff if that happens. Cortland, their LSU fans who wanted Les fired the day after he won a title. Still wanted Mulkey and Jay fired. Have openly said they'd rather 5 wins with O than 10 with Kelly. That's weird. I haven't heard that. That's weird. If Notre Dame beats Ohio State, we'll have surpassed BK. Otherwise, he hasn't done anything different. Question, Matt. Is there a fear of losing all these great offensive linemen that Brad Davis recruited by adding what people saying plug-and-play offensive linemen? Yeah, that's a good question. And I think what you're trying, so yes, that's fair, but I think what you're also trying to do is create competition. Like, you needed help at center. You went and got Braylon Moore. He's going to start at center. But DJ Chester is going to be a better guard than center anyway. Well, you have an opportunity for DJ Chester to go compete for and try to win a starting job on the offensive line at guard. Go this way.
Go this way.
Go this way. Tyree Adams, long, athletic dude, redshirted as a freshman, was your 6th offensive lineman this year, can play guard or tackle. He might be your starting left tackle next year, unless if you go in the portal and get someone who is a better option. And then, what do you want? Weston Davis was a 5-star. He'll have an opportunity this year to compete for a job because one of your tackle spots is going to be open. I mean, there's going to be competition. I think Braylon Moore is going to be your starting center, and ideally Josh Thompson from Northwestern is starting at guard because you're able to go get a starting tackle. But if he needs to play tackle, he can. So, I mean, I guess, yes. Long way of answering your question. Let me shorten it. Sure, going and getting guys in the portal, you run the risk of having some of the guys you recruited leave. But what's the alternative? Do you want to make your roster better or not? I do. So I think it's just a risk that you have to take. Hey, Brad, looked it up. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. Brad, I don't know if you're serious. So like that's just been that's been like this ongoing thing, like everyone always talks about, that he's never had a losing season with the Steelers. But yeah, he's never had a losing season. Yeah, if they're waiting their turn, would be awesome. Fan reacts. BK needs to make sure he has an offense this year, but I'm just not sold on Reese. Well, Tommy, if they had Tommy Reese on the staff, he's not going to be the OC. Joe Sloan's going to be your OC. Ever since Kelly got here in 21, we've had NIL transfer. We came here in 22. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a transformative era. Yes. Lance, at least the Saints can't let us down today. Corbin talking about football. Brian Kelly doesn't need to do anything. He's not getting fired regardless. True. Does Supper Club have a chef's menu? Like off menu items? Is that what you mean? They do have specials and things like that. That's what you're asking. Cortland. Okay. Y'all are going back and forth. Robert Collins, morning, Matt. Any big news on baseball for the upcoming season? Yeah, I don't know what you would classify as big news, but they look very good in fall. They have a ton of arms. Bummer that Devin Sheeran, the big strong arm righty from Mount St. Mary's, tore his ACL. He's not available this year, but preseason number 2 in the country, behind Texas A&M. That's, I think, in the perfect game rankings. So, they got everything you need. They got young talent. They got veteran talent. They got guys that can hit for power, for average. They got arms. They got lefties and righties. And it'll be a lot of fun, man. All right, 11 o'clock. Couple more here, y'all. Okay. Mark, good morning. Saints want Kingsbury new head coach. They're going to interview him. I think you could do way worse. Chili, when is Musso at the box coming back? Moose, I think probably in the next couple of weeks. I think Musso said whenever they start practice, which I think is the end of January. So maybe probably in the next week or so. Let's see. Ohio State's going to mop the floor with Notre Dame. I tend to agree. Middle-aged grind. Miles won in year 3. Still wish Saban would have stayed at LSU. Miles won in year 3, but also remember they had 2 losses and won. And he inherited a great program from Nick Saban. Like, he inherited a great situation. Saban won it in year 4. And Saban had early success. He won the SEC in his second year, won the Sugar Bowl, and then they lost 5 games the next year in 2002 and then won a national championship. Sound familiar? This I agree with. Indiana and Penn State have the same problems Notre Dame does. Those are very comparable teams. I agree. I think the question is, like, here, what I would say about sort of the college football landscape as a whole is I don't think teams like Notre Dame and Penn State have elevated to the level like Clemson and Alabama were in the 2019 LSU. Like, I don't look at those and see like NFL rosters that are just juggernauts. I think what you've seen is the portal has sort of I don't want to say watered down, but it is, maybe it's watered down, but it's been an more evenly distribution of talent, where you have NFL guys that'll go to SMU because they can get a big payday. I mean, look at Caleb Downs at Ohio State. I mean, he left Alabama and went to Ohio State. He's an incredible football player. He's the best safety in the country. How much better would Alabama have been this year if Downs and Bond and a lot of those guys that left in the portal when Saban retired had stayed at Alabama? That was my point all along. You can't lose 50 guys, or you can't lose 50% of your roster and think you're just going to churn right along and not miss a beat. H-Town Creole, good morning. Here in Sark, leaving UT for Dallas. I haven't heard anything on that. And I know I saw yesterday where Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys have engaged in a contract, talks in the contract extension. So I don't believe that. I don't know anything. That would turn Texas on its head, right? If Sark left, for sure it would. All right. I got to get going, y'all. See if I can get a couple of more in here. Robbie, I have an old school question for you. My favorite college football player of all time is Brian Bosworth. Bosworth's NFL career was unfortunately a bust because of injuries. What did you think of Boz? I thought he was a good actor in Hollywood. He's still an actor in Hollywood. He's doing the Dr. Pepper commercials. Yeah, man. I mean, he built a brand around his nickname. I mean, Bosworth in the NIL era would have been massive. But yeah, he's a really good player. I think he's just remembered, and he was a good pro too. He was just remembered for getting trucked by Bo Jackson. There was a 30 for 30 about Bosworth. If you remember, he ended up only playing 3 seasons in the NFL. Played 24 games in 3 seasons. That was it. So he had a very short NFL career, but really good college player, man. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, man. He's got to keep going out there and try to get a win. If the transfer portal existed in 05, Les Miles never wins a national title. That's tough to say, man. I mean, the thing I'll tell you about Les that I think is unfair, that people who criticize, like Les had his shortcomings, but Les did some things amazingly well. Les was a great recruiter. You talk to people that got recruited by him, and they'll tell you, like, sitting on a couch with your parents, closing, like, there are a few better. Like, he was a great recruiter. Les also was a great identifier of coaching talent. I mean, look at the staffs he developed and built. I mean, look at his defensive coordinators. I mean, he had Kevin Steele here. I mean, he hired Dave Aranda. He hired Steve Ensminger as his tight ends coach. He hired Ed Ogeron. He hired Frank Wilson. I mean, Les hired Corey Raymond. I mean, Les was great at building staffs. He was a really good recruiter. Les's bugaboo was he couldn't stop meddling in the offense. And if he had just been willing to open things up and get out of the way, I think it would have gone differently for him. But you don't win as many games for as long as Les did consistently if you're a bad coach. Like, you don't luck your way into that. Les was a very good coach. I believe Les belongs in the College Football Hall of Fame. It ended very badly, and that's unfortunate. But I do think Les deserves a lot of credit for his time at LSU. Okay, y'all, I got to get out of here. All of our great sponsors, I'm going to church. Linked in the description on YouTube, tagged on Facebook. Y'all have an awesome day. Please go check out Locked on LSU podcast or YouTube, and go read some stuff over at LouisianaSports.net. Hunt Palmer has a daily profile going on right now. Oh, wait, one more thing. Hunt has a daily profile up every day on the LSU transfer portal class. I'm going to post this, so go read it at LouisianaSports.net. Please go vote for Parrish Construction and Roofing in the best of Baton Rouge. If you go to like Home and Garden, click roofing, and you'll see Parrish there. It's free to vote. You don't have to live in Baton Rouge. Just please click that link and go vote. Would greatly appreciate it if you go vote for Parrish. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Peace.